Today, we're plunging into the mystical and soul-stirring world of Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist. Now, before you say, "Oh, not another philosophical book breakdown," let me assure you, this isn't your average pep talk about following your dreams. We're here to unravel how the hard choices in life lead to buried treasures, the magic, the omens, and yes, even some banditry. So let's journey with Santiago, a humble shepherd boy turned legendary seeker, and dig deep into the 9 critical choices that defined his destiny. Ready? Let's hit the road. Part 1. The Road Less Traveled. Meet Santiago, a young shepherd living a simple life in the rolling hills of Spain. His parents wanted him to become a priest. You know, a solid, sensible job with a side of spirituality. But Santiago was like, no, not for me, because he was after something more: adventure, discovery, the world beyond his village. So, choice number 1. Santiago decided to become a shepherd. Why? To roam the countryside and experience life outside the confines of what was expected of him. His journey had begun long before he ever heard about the treasure. One night, under the starlit sky, Santiago dreams of treasure buried near the pyramids in Egypt. Now, we all have dreams. Some of us dream about pizza, some about fame. Santiago? He dreams about treasure. Why? Why don't we see treasure in our dreams, you may well ask? Because Santiago had already demonstrated to the universe that he followed his heart. And that is why he is the one who sees the buried treasure in his dreams. And here's the kicker: he dreams about it twice. Instead of brushing it off as just a dream, choice number 2, he decides to act on it. He believes that dreams are the language of the universe, speaking directly to his soul. You've got to admire that level of conviction. Part 2. The Nudge from the Universe. So Santiago does what any sensible dream chaser would do. He goes to see a gypsy fortune teller. She tells him that dreams are the language of God. Santiago thinks, okay, I'm on the right track. But here's the twist. She asks for 1/10 of the treasure in return for her guidance. A bit steep, but you got to pay the dream tax, I guess. Then Santiago meets Melchizedek, the mysterious king of Salem, disguised as a simple old man. Melchizedek doesn't just walk up to you for a casual chat. He drops some serious wisdom bombs. That, when you are young, you believe you can achieve anything in life. But as you grow older, your doubts and uncertainties start getting the better of you. But actually, the desire that originates in you in the first place is what links you to the soul of the world. And when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. Melchizedek was the nudge from the universe which put Santiago on the road to fulfill his personal legend. Santiago is torn between staying with his flock of sheep, his comfort zone, and heading into the unknown for a treasure he isn't even sure exists. So now he faces choice number 3. Does he stick to his routine or take the plunge? And guess what? And as soon as he decides to follow his dream, his friend buys all his sheep from him. Principle of favorability, or beginner's luck, is what Melchizedek termed this act, stating that this was the universe's way of pushing you on the right path by making things work out for you in the first step itself. Part 3. Into the Unknown. And so Santiago sets off for Egypt, filled with hope and determination. First stop, Africa, and bam, he's immediately swindled by a young man who promised to help him find a guide. Left penniless and stranded in a foreign land, Santiago's resolve is tested for the first time. Now most people would think, well, that's that, time to go home, but not Santiago. He realizes he has a choice. He can either wallow in self-pity or see this disaster as a part of his adventure. Choice number 4. He chooses the latter and decides to view himself not as a victim, but as an adventurer on a quest. Now that's some next-level optimism. Determined to make the best of his situation, Santiago lands a job with a crystal merchant. This guy's shop is on the brink of collapse, and Santiago could have taken the quick cash and returned home. But instead, he decides to help revitalize the business. Here comes choice number 5. Santiago pours his energy and creativity into transforming the shop's fortune. He introduces new ideas, like serving tea in crystal glasses to attract more customers. He works for nearly a year and finally earns enough money to buy not just a return ticket, but to triple his initial investment. But just when you think Santiago might be tempted to go back to his old life in Spain with his newly earned wealth, he faces another crossroads. His home is just 2 hours away, and returning would be the logical and safe choice. Yet his heart tells him otherwise. He's closer to his goal, the pyramids, than ever before, and going back now would mean turning his back on his treasure. Choice number 6. Santiago decides to keep moving forward, to take another step into the desert, guided by faith and curiosity. Part 4. Love, Omens and Dilemmas. Fast forward to the Al Fayoum oasis, an important stopover in the desert. Here, Santiago meets Fatima, a young woman who captures his heart instantly. Love blooms in the desert, and Santiago is faced with a new kind of challenge. Does he stay at the oasis, marry Fatima, and live a simple, happy life? This seems like a dream come true, right? But as he contemplates this idyllic future, Santiago encounters another omen. He sees a flight of hawks in the sky, where one took to suddenly attacking the other, which he interprets as an impending attack on the oasis. Here's choice number 7. Does he keep quiet to avoid making a fool of himself, or does he take the risk and warn the chieftain? Santiago chooses to speak up, risking his reputation and safety. His courage is rewarded and the attack is thwarted, but just when he's getting comfortable again, life throws him yet another curveball. The alchemist, a mystical figure in the oasis, tells Santiago that he's still not where he's meant to be. If he stays, he'll live a comfortable life, but will never truly fulfill his destiny. The omens would stop speaking to him, and his soul would grow restless. The choice becomes stark: stay and settle, or push forward into the unknown. Choice number 8. Santiago decides to trust the alchemist and leave the oasis, even though it means saying goodbye to Fatima. He chooses the pursuit of his personal legend over comfort, yet again proving his commitment to his dream. Part 5. The final tests and the ultimate reward. The alchemist and Santiago travel deeper into the desert, where Santiago learns that true knowledge comes not from theory, but from experience. He discovers that fear is the biggest barrier to achieving one's dreams. Fear of suffering, failure, or ridicule. The alchemist imparts to him that the final test of achieving a dream is always the hardest and the most unpredictable. This is the point where most people failed and gave up. It was the point where one dies of thirst just when the palm trees have appeared on the horizon. So, though you may start excitedly on your journey, spurred on by beginner's luck, yet you cannot reach your treasure without passing this test set by the universe. And so, Santiago prepares himself for the ultimate trial. He realizes that his heart was a traitor to his dreams because it became fearful of the suffering that could come if the dream failed to materialize. So each person's heart made him afraid to follow his destiny, telling him that he wasn't deserving enough or he wasn't capable enough to achieve his dream. But the alchemist reminded him that the fear of the suffering is worse than the suffering itself. Finally, Santiago reaches the pyramids, his heart pounding with anticipation. He digs, he searches, he believes. But what does he find? Nothing but sand. And just when he feels all hope slipping away, a group of thieves beats him up, mocking his foolish quest. One of them casually mentions having a dream about a treasure buried in a ruined church back in Spain, under a sycamore tree. And there it is, the ultimate test. Santiago could easily give up now, feeling utterly defeated. But instead, he makes choice number 9. He chooses to trust in the omens one last time. Santiago returns to Spain, and in the very place where he first had his dream, under the sycamore tree, he finds the treasure. Yep, real gold and jewels. But, as he realizes, the true treasure was not the material wealth, but the wisdom, courage and strength he gained along the way. Santiago's journey wasn't just about finding gold, it was about finding himself. And that, my friends, is the essence of the story. So Santiago's greatest achievement wasn't discovering the treasure, but staying true to his heart's desire, no matter how daunting or unpredictable the journey became. His story is a reminder that while life might take us in circles, it's the hard choices and difficult roads that bring us closer to our own personal legend.
We touched on a few chapters, but there's much more to know. Read the complete book to let the wisdom flow. Turn pages, chase dreams, erase every doubt. Until next time, a bookster's signing out.